Hi, Mrs. Franks here, and I'm just going to explain to you how I intend to teach my poetry unit for Japanese poetry. Now, when you see our lesson plan that will be handed off to you, you'll see that this is set for Florida standards. If you're in a different state, feel free to adjust your standards accordingly. But this first lesson is a Tanka poetry lesson, and it will be presented using an online, 100% online class. For example, I've set up here my Moodle classroom. As you can see, I've already created a site for my poetry unit. In Moodle, you are able to host different weeks. And so what I would do, I would probably, if I was hosting this course and you're going to be hosting it yourself, I would set up an entire week dedicated to the element of poetry that we're discussing. So for week 1, I would create it where it would be all about Tanka poetry. Inside of this lesson, you'll see here that we'll have students watch videos, they will create their own resources, they will go on a virtual walk, they will fill out a graphic organizer, and then they'll also write a reflection. If you're using a Moodle site or a Canvas site, you are actually able to embed these types of materials right inside of your web pages. So for those videos that you see, for those assignments that are attached, I would have teacher content written right on the page, and then students would be able to either watch videos, you can embed sound bites by pressing play, you can have different images embedded as well. There are games linked out to other sites. So this is how I would begin to teach those courses. For the assignments that would have to be submitted for this lesson, as you can see when we scroll down on the lesson that you're being given, students have assessments for completing a graphic organizer. They will also be expected to write a poem that is unique, and they'll be given rubrics that they can use to review each lesson. When you look at this Moodle site, you'll see that each of these links are available for the readings that they needed to complete. These will link to the discussion boards that they are expected to post their discussions inside of. And you can also make sure that quizzes are embedded if you decide that that's the route that you would like to take. For the second lesson, students will not be looking at haikus, but instead they will be looking at Tanka poetry. So for these Tanka poems, you can see that I've got a graphic organizer that students will have to submit on their own, and they will also need to create a few different types of materials here. We see that students will work individually and go on a walking tour. So again, this is a video that you can embed right inside of your website so that students can view it. You will be able to ensure that if you want to have a picture linked to it, as I have here, you can click on a picture and it will take you right to the intended video. The videos that students will be viewing for this particular lesson, there are 3 of them. So you'll have the Garden of Words, you'll also have What is a Tanka Poem, and my favorite part, they will have a virtual walk through Osaka, Japan. So using these virtual elements and these teaching elements, you'll be able to integrate technology into your classroom and ensure that your 8th graders have a really technology and digital rich lesson.